Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Friday follow-up in the continuing journey of accountability. Today, I'd like to talk to you about momentum. It's a law of physics. I'm not going to go too deep into the science of it, but you've all seen these toys that are on the desk, and it has these steel ball bearings, and you just start it, and it'll just keep on going back and forth, back and forth. All you need to do is just give it a little nudge to start it. So, like I said, momentum can be good if it's going in the right direction. If I'm on a good run, let's say, of losing weight every week, that's great momentum. Don't want to stop it. But if I'm on the opposite part of the spectrum and I'm gaining every week, that's not the momentum that I want, and I'm going to have to do something to change it up. And that change is our choice. There are things that we can't change, and I've talked about different items of that in various venues, whether it was a Friday morning chat or one of my blogs, or just a meeting that, let's say, Barb and I threw together, and we just have a chat and we shared it with you folks. Again, changes happen, and it's our decision on how we want to apply them. Again, momentum sometimes will take over. Let's say, for example, that there's a rule change and it starts being discussed, and people will have their views and opinions. And what they're doing is they're looking at the change and how it affects them, because the choice is ours on how we want to make things go into play. Yesterday, there was a great momentum going on Facebook and in this empowering members group, and a discussion about whether or not a member should weigh in. Well, we've talked about this now for the past 6 months. At the beginning of the year, there's a video that I did that explains the rules, and you can find that on our website. Barb and I did a discussion on the Members' Bill of Rights, which ironically was put out there, well, about over 10 years ago. Sometimes I lose track of. Ironically, it was put out there that a member is not obligated to weigh in. Wow, that's been around there for quite a while. And the whole idea is that we can only help or support people if they go to a meeting, or if they choose to join an online event so that they can listen to others and participate and get support. If they're not there, we can't reach them. Yes, we can try to reach them through these types of events and venues. Yeah, sure. But we need them to go to the meeting. I know, because I was a coordinator at one time. I know I'm hearing people would talk about how if they had a bad week, they would not go to the meeting. That's not a good momentum to start. They would not go to the meeting because they were I'm not going to say afraid. They were uncomfortable. There's a good word. Because when you deal with obesity, there's a lot of uncomfortable events. But they were uncomfortable because for whatever reason, they felt they had failed themselves. They failed the chapter. Again, we tend to be our own worst enemy. So the fact that maybe it wasn't well known in the Bill of Rights for TOPS members that you were not obligated to weigh in. The only thing that somebody missed in that momentum that was going on yesterday on Facebook was the fact that people can still weigh in, and that the only change in the rule was the penalty was removed if a member doesn't weigh in. That's right, folks. Think about this. That was not mentioned in that moment. And I kind of wanted to jump in, but again, the discussion was going good. And I figured I have an opportunity today to say what I think is important. And the fact is that's all it was, that in the past, if a member chose, and they had that right, chose not to weigh in, and they had several ABs or 4 unexcused absences, they were not eligible at the end of the year to participate in into the state, provincial, and international awards that TOPS Club gives out. Now, listen to what I just said. What TOPS gives out at the state, provincial, and international level. It has nothing to do with what contests are done in the chapter or what advocates and coordinators want to do for their part on finding ways and how to support and recognize good efforts. So that's all that happened. One little thing, again, just that little, get that ball going, and momentum took off and people had a great discussion. But again, realizing that sometimes momentum can go the wrong way, sometimes you need that little tweak to get things back on track. So let me be clear. The rule change and the great discussion that went on has nothing to do that TOPS is not wanting folks to be accountable. It's just that as a coordinator in the past, and coordinators who may be listening to this now, understand that the 2 weights they look at a resume is the first weight of the year and the last weight of the year. Looking at those 2 numbers, you can tell pretty much what happened during the beginning, during the middle of the year. For my journey of accountability, my momentum took a different turn yesterday. I started working yesterday at my desk at 6 o'clock in the morning. I tried to do that to get some things done before all the time zones wake up and I get emails and phone calls throughout the day. The day took on a path of itself, and I didn't stop until 6 o'clock that evening. That was a good momentum because I got a lot done, but a bad momentum because I just sat all day long and didn't move. And I looked up at the clock. I said, I'm going to miss my meeting tonight, and I was unable to attend. But I do know, because I have a scale at home, that I had about a 2-pound gain this week. Would I have weighed in if I'd have gone to the meeting? Yeah, I would have, because I will weigh in when I go to meetings. It is my option to do so. Have I chose not to weigh in at a meeting? Yeah, I have, just because I just didn't want to hear the number. I knew. So again, momentum sometimes is affected by a change, good or bad. The fact that we've been trying to get out this information to everyone, to folks to realize that you can take any part of the TOPS tools. Remember, a while back ago, I did a whole discussion on all the TOPS toolbox, that all the tools that we have. I'm currently laying out a what could be a multi-part program for the chapters in my bi-weekly blogs. I am building a periodic table of TOPS. For those of you science geeks, periodic table of elements are just dealing with carbon, oxygen, all the basic elements of life, and there's 118 of them. But I'm turning it into the elements of TOPS and how we can use this. And just a few weeks ago, and I encourage you to go look at these blogs because we are attempting, and we're trying to get the same message out to everybody in different ways. Because sometimes you hear something today and you hear it again next week and you put it together and you say, oh, that's what that meant. I was thinking something else. But a couple of weeks back, I did the element of I for individuality, easier to write, not difficult to say, individuality that everybody has. And that's what makes things difficult, folks, because we are all individuals. We all look at things a little different. So where some folks rightfully thought, wow, if TOPS is not concerned about what goes on weighing in between the first and the last of the year, where's the accountability? Well, the accountability is the fact that you need to go to a meeting. That's how you can hold yourself accountable. I've talked about various ways and how I hold myself accountable. The fact that my belt and I have a great discussion every morning when I put the belt on. And I realized quite a while ago that even though I work from home and I don't have to get dressed up, I tend to get dressed up. I will put a belt on in the morning. I will wear a tie. One, because I never felt comfortable when I was over 320 pounds dressing up. I like dressing up now, so I'll do that. And that helps me keep accountable. There are many ways that we use to keep ourselves accountable, but I can't tell you which one works for you. If you need to weigh in every week, please do so. It's your right. But if you need to weigh in once a month, it's your right. It's what you need to do to get through each day. And that is all we're trying to do as a TOPS organization, to support you in your decisions. So getting back to that periodic table of TOPS, I'm laying out a whole plan on how we can look at all the tools and use them as a chapter program, or just use them for yourself. I recently did about for the opportunity. The opportunities that we have on ourselves and available to ourselves to get that healthy lifestyle. Today's one is P for planning, because you have to plan to do your path. Plan to create your own path. Again, because of the opportunities and the individuality that we all have. So I don't want anybody to ever not voice their opinion, whether it is on Facebook, an email to your chapter leader, advocate, coordinator, service program administrator, to headquarters through the wandering tops.org. However you choose to make your feelings known, just know that everybody's opinion, comment is heard. But not every opinion, comment, or question might not fit your plan. But that's okay, because it is your plan. You pick and choose what opportunity, what path you want to take. And again, I was not uncomfortable. I was not disheartened by the discussion that went on Facebook yesterday, because I kind of knew it was going to happen, folks. Just because at the first of the year, when the rules changed and it was in TOPS News, doesn't mean all our members saw it. And if they did, at that moment, that change, that word, that paragraph, that article didn't have an effect on them, because at the time they were thinking about something else. But that's why we keep on bringing these things back, because we want every TOPS member to realize that all the changes, all the momentum that swings back and forth is being done for you, so that you can pick what you need to help you get through week to week, day to day. But I will close with this. If you don't tell us how you feel, if you don't raise your hand at a meeting and ask for help or an explanation or something to be done a little bit different to help you out, please do so. But remember, if the person next to you does the same thing, we don't judge them. We just try to understand. My grandfather used to tell me, Rick, you ask a lot of questions. And I said, that's right, Grampy. I have to ask a lot of questions because I want to know a lot. And I feel that if I don't ask questions, nobody will tell me anything. And I learned a lot from my grandfather because I asked questions. And I'll learn a lot from you folks if you ask questions, make comments. So I hope nobody's disheartened by the fact that momentum can swing back and forth. The basic core is there. The TOPS is still there. It's just moving in a different way so that we all can help each other. And that's my talk for today, and I'll see you next Friday.